That's a man who has ridden the wave, has been on top, okay, when the Cowboys are riding high, had that 13-3 season, and so on and forth, and he's also been close to the bottom, and this season has just mirrored that. Starting off 3-0, talking about $40 million contract, one side of the coin. Lose the next 3 games, culminating with a loss to the lowly, winless New York Jets, other side of the coin. And so for him as a leader, that is the word that I've been hearing over and over today in relation to Dak Prescott, and it's just true. It's the quality that stands out the most when I think about Dak, along with his win total, which in his time during the NFL is up there with Mr. Tom Brady. But this is a man who stands tall, doesn't make excuses, and has been getting the job done since he stepped foot in the NFL. Undeniable. Now, he plays the most prestigious position in all of sports, as far as I'm concerned. Yes, okay, soccer, biggest sport globally. All right, fine. America, our footprint certainly much larger than most, and football is the biggest sport in this country, so that's how I'm viewing it. We can debate back and forth. It's neither here nor there. Extremely impressed, and I have to just respect how he gets the job done. That, it's one of these things, when you're at that high level, again, we see it and understand it in Titletown here. People love to hate winners, dynasties, standard bearers, excellence. It's just something you have to take on. Again, I've said it, heavy weighs the crown on the head of the king. In relation to Dak Prescott, he is going to be lionized, really propped up on the highest of pedestals when things are going well for the Cowboys. Again, because of their fan base, which I've alluded to, and frankly, the respect and tradition of the organization. They've had decades of success. But at the same time, what we don't always factor in, when things aren't going well, those individuals in those type of situations, the quarterback of the Cowboys, if you are a star of a team like the New York Yankees, who we will get to, if you're a Tom Brady, this dynastic type of individual, is that, big markets, high stakes, you are going to find yourself, either on the highest of highest mountains, or just absolutely positively buried under waves and waves and waves of hot lava. One or the other. All right? How Dak has just been a captain of captains on that treacherous terrain in those high seas, it just, for me, that is noteworthy. Remarkable might be an exaggeration, but he clearly deserves a contract, deserves to get his money. Whatever Carson Wentz has gotten, Dak deserves more. All right, because his record against the Eagles, one-sided. And you just look at both of these individuals, they both have good teams, equal record. I mean, obviously the Cowboys are at home, but that aside, what you saw, it was just night and day. And back to Doug Peterson and his prediction, he came up, he was talking the talk, but, team, it's just, he you know, as a coach, you have to roll the dice sometimes, and you take chances, you take risks. So I can't fault him too much for that. You know, and trying to light a fire and galvanize his team. It fell absolutely positively 100% flat. And they were outclassed on every single level. And, you know, this could be something that torpedoes their season, you know, and that's the kind of the narrative today. You know, in conclusion, you know, with this lead-off story, one of these two teams is definitely not making the playoffs. That's a fact. All right, Cowboys 4-3, Eagles 3-4. You know, both of these teams' only chance to make the playoffs will be in winning the NFC East, based on the strength of the NFC conference overall. The Eagles have essentially two games against the Redskins and the Dolphins that heavily favor them. You know, with football, you never know. And only 16 games, but the high drama that takes place, you know, within that season and then going forward into the playoffs, down the playoffs, you know, home field advantage, so on and forth. But, you know, you really cannot tell from year to year. My point to connect to that is Dolphins putting Fitzmagic at the helm, you know, a team that people, you know, they're tanking and, you know, couldn't beat a college team, high school, you know, elite high school varsity team. You know, it's too far, but a college team. You know, they could have easily got that W yesterday against a very good Bills team. But again, the Eagles, they have those two games, Dolphins, Redskins, that favor them, whereas the Cowboys in their last 9 games, they close out with the Redskins. Their next 8 games, we're talking about the Vikings, we're talking about the Patriots, we're talking about the Seahawks, we're talking about the Lions. You got a battle, face off against the Eagles in the rubber match in Philly. They just have 8 straight challenging games, and it's what makes the NFL great, the #1 sports league for a reason. And you are really going to, this Cowboys team has the pieces, but the competition is just so fierce. It's going to be intriguing every single week to see these matchups and to see what teams qualify for the second season, which will be a completely, absolutely distinct and divergent journey in and of itself. You know, the home field advantage will loom large, as we know. You know, in Titletown, Patriots playing in the AFC least. That has allowed them to get that first round bye and home field advantage, and has a lot to do, you know, with their 9 Super Bowls and 6 Super Bowl victories. All right. Nonetheless, you know, the ferocity of that competition means that home field can be thrown out the window. Okay, when you're looking at how battle-tested these teams will enter into the playoffs. Next, has to be recognized. Many people won't believe, myself included, this is the best team in all of football. What the New Orleans Saints did yesterday not only absolutely positively torpedoed my fantasy team, my arch rival, Mr. Jay Valente. You know, this was rivalry week, you know, in my fantasy league. You know, we have side bets, you know, wagers, you know, tremendous pride on the line week in and week out. Just the level of disdain and disgust that I have. First, just losing. And then where am I going with this? You know, my arch nemesis, again, Mr. Jay Valente. Okay, you know, had Michael Thomas, you know, and the running back for New Orleans, whose name will get on the screen. It wasn't Kamara, all right? I had a chance to come back. Have Le'Veon going today and Crowder going today. Kyler didn't get it done yesterday, understandably. You know, there was tough conditions. And the Cardinals, who, by the way, have won 3 in a row. And we're going to touch on the success under fire of Cliff Kingsbury and Kyler Murray, which is tremendous, you know, and much credit there in terms of what the young man is doing and showing. We will touch on that, all right? But where am I going with this, people? And this rant over the last 5 minutes, it might seem like a little bit of gibberish, okay? Arch nemesis had Michael Thomas and the Saints' number 2 running back.